Hello people on the internet. In this video, you will see me doing a side-size charcoal cast study at home. I will explain to you what is side sizing, showing you all the mistakes and improvements I made along the way so you can learn from my mistake, observe my approach, and improve on your own craft. Setup and materials. So here we go. My setup is easy because I know you are lazy. I just hang my cast on the drawing board. Normally one would hang the cast on the wall, but I don't want to drill a hole just for this study. Hang the cast right on the drawing board has its pros and cons. I will expand on it later. Let's talk about the paper I'm using here. The art school I go to uses Fabriano Roma Michelangelo, but not only does this paper cost $25, it's also out of stock for a year now. Arch's cold press watercolor paper is what I used for this project. 9x12, perfect size for this cast. What paper to use is not that important, as long as it's moderately textured so charcoal can stay on it. We do also use bristle brush to brush charcoal powder into paper, but still paper can't be too smooth, but nor too textured. I used the smoother side of cold press watercolor paper. Other materials needed are a knitting needle for measuring. Some schools use a string. I like knitting needle because it can be operated by one hand. A bristle brush or multiple bristle brushes in different size, kneaded eraser, and of course charcoal sticks. And a sharpening block to sharp charcoal sticks. Essentially, it's just sanding paper on a block. I have made a video about it if you want to make one yourself. What is side sizing? The side size method is a way of construct realistic drawings with great accuracy and detail. It has been used for learning and teaching drawing for centuries. It is a method by which anyone with any amount of drawing experience can set up and execute a realistic drawing. The basic idea on which the method depends setting up a specific relationship between you, the drawing, and the subject. The relationship necessary for the method to work is where you are positioned so that you can easily view the subject and drawing so they appear to be the same visual size. Once the subject and drawing are seen as being the same size, it becomes possible to mechanically measure and compare the proportions of the subject to the drawing and to judge the drawing's accuracy. The process of engaging in this method over time trains the eye to perceive finer and finer deviations in form between the subject and drawing and increases the artist's ability to create a realistic and accurate drawing. First few marks should be the highest point and the lowest point of the subject, then measure and mark the width of it. Those extreme marks can change depending on the subject. Essentially, you are marking a perfectly sized box to place your subject inside. Start with straight lines and slowly carve out the general shape. This first step of drawing, called construct, can take hours depending on your drawing level. Take your time if you really want to nail down the proportions. After construct, it's articulation. Curvy lines and smaller angles can be carefully marked. I, however, combined those two steps. You see, I was making rather curvy lines pretty early on. My academic instructor would certainly frown upon my misbehave. You so naughty! But those so-called steps are just a mindset, a way to help people learn. Outside the classroom, you do whatever you want. I'm at my apartment, my place, my rule. But seriously? So if you have limited experience, don't skip steps. Be patient, respect to what your sifu told you to do. After you spend however long the time you needed to finish articulation, fill in the shadow shapes. It's kinda too late to do more light adjustments at this stage, but I did it anyway, because my place, my rule. As I slowly add more midtones, background tone has to be filled up to help me better gauge my drawing's tonal range. This step should have done a lot earlier, even before masking the shadows, but I wanted to be able to rest my pinky on paper, so I postponed it until now. To be honest, I initially didn't even want to fill in background. You are free to do so, but light areas of the cast can really have some contrast, so I changed my mind. To fill in the background, use a softer charcoal, then I brushed it in, cleaned it up with my eraser. It works relatively okay with this one, but you can also use a soft sponge to do the job. You will see it later when I rework backgrounds. So one of the reasons of having the cats hanging on same drawing board with paper can be bad is that it moves. But again, I don't want to drill a hole just for this short study. It's okay, not ideal, but okay. I mean, I have to make compromises with my laziness. With the background filled, I can no longer rest my pinky on paper. It's time to use my retractable good luck sword. I'm sharpening my charcoal sticks way often than you see here because I was too lazy to change camera angles. I need to keep them sharp at all times, especially now more subtle transitions are being added. A close-up for you. This is how I make more subtle transitions. Fill in the holes and erase dark spots. Only a less noisy tone can make transitions more subtle. There are a lot more holes can be filled, but my time budget for this study is not 50 hours, but 5 to 6 hours. So I'm fine with the level of noisiness it is at now. Back at the background again, hole filling and more. Background also can't be noisy. It will compete attention with our main subject. I use a soft sponge to further even out that tone. There are way more things to look out for when doing such exercise. What I covered here is just tip of the iceberg. This video is already too long. We shall talk more in future videos. Thanks for watching. And keep practicing.